Good evening, and welcome to the Baseball and Beer Podcast. I'm your host, John Nee, along with my co-host and beer aficionado, J.R. Nicholas.
Hello.
Cheers.
Start off with a little toast here.
Start off with a victory beer after
no.
this big homestand.
Okay.
A victory drink.
Victory
after
celebration.
a big homestand from the Phillies. What do we got here? Let's dive right into what we're drinking first before we talk about the Phillies.
This is called Fakes Lager from Forest and Main in Ambler. And this is in collaboration with Human Robot, which is a brewery I'm very fond of. It's outstanding. Isn't that good?
Fifth and Burke's in Philadelphia.
No,
Human
Fifth
Robot.
and North Fifth. North Fifth.
Fifth.
Human Robot.
Human Robot.
This is on this pub. Forest and Main's pub is on Butler Ave, and the original location is Forest and Main, but I think they've moved it. I don't know. I was talking to the bartender. Apparently, they brew more and make more around the corner from the pub, which is on Butler Ave, Forest and Main. Highly recommend. It doesn't have a kitchen. You bring your own food, which I'm fine with. But this beer, I tasted it along with some IPAs. It's really solid beer.
Good
And
stuff.
I approve.
Yeah, it's got a good taste.
Yeah, we're gonna drink
one more there before
we're gonna
we
drink a couple of these because they're really good.
before we jump right in.
I mean, this is my first. This is the first can I cracked. The only pour I had was a little sampling at the brewery. So
Perfect.
I was like, 4-pack, please, thank you.
Yes, 4-pack to go.
4-pack to go.
So let's jump in though with the
Yes.
Phillies. So anyway, we had a solid homestand, a 5-2 homestand against the Houston Astros, the first place Houston Astros, I will add, and the Atlanta Braves, whom were nipping at the Phillies' heels, only 5 games back. They had took two or three from the Phillies with some outstanding pitching against the Phillies the week before, and I think there was a lot of nervous people in the Delaware Valley and Philadelphia area.
I was
with,
one of them, for sure.
I think there was a few people thinking they might, they could lose 2 or 3 to the Astros and possibly, split with Atlanta or maybe even lose
Atlanta
that
would be
series.
like 3 games back, and we'd
I
be
think,
really.
I think they came in 5 out, and I think there was a lot of nervous people, but the Phillies they pulled it out. They went 5-2, which is outstanding against those 2 squads.
Yeah.
Wheeler and Nola. I mean,
Wheeler and Nola,
outstanding.
outstanding.
They had 2 starts each. One against Houston for each, and one against the Braves. They both pitched 13 innings.
Okay.
And both only allowed 2 earned runs.
Right.
They were just fantastic. Sanchez battled, didn't have a great game, but he battled. He hung in there, and Suarez ran into a little trouble. He's still working his way back.
The bullpen bailed out Sanchez.
Yeah, we'll get to them. What a job they have done. Sanchez
really
and
good.
Suarez for that.
They just
One of the blemishes in there was we took a 10-0 ass whooping and Tawan Walker's ass.
That was the Wednesday game that I was wondering if that was going to be his last start, and I'm probably assuming that was his last start. I was correct.
His last that was Walker's last start. I'm going to assume for this year for sure.
This year, I think he sits, and then we try, like you said, we try to make him the 5th starter next spring training.
I'm sure it's a lot of money to eat, so I'm sure Walker's going to get he's going to get a chance to maybe he was hurt a lot this year. They're probably going to I don't know. They're going to give him a chance to heal, bring him to spring training. He's in the bullpen now. I guess he's going to be, per se, the highest paid mop-up guy in the league.
Yeah,
and,
apparently that's all he can do right now.
That's probably really all he'll do. I don't expect to see him in any close games. I expect it to be mop-up situations.
No, to your point last time was like you bring him in out of the bullpen, and he's a guy that gives up runs early
right away
in the game.
Sure.
So that's kind of, hopefully that's not the case if we happen to go to him at all.
He is,
which we might not. We might not use him much.
Yeah, he is not going to.
It's kind of a bummer. I feel bad for him, but I mean, he pitched like shit the last month. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
But now the big guns in the bullpen.
Big guns.
Kakarin,
they're all
Estevez,
good.
Strom and Hoffman.
Yep.
During that series, they allowed 0 earned runs in 5 of those games, which is, quite frankly, outstanding from the back end of your bullpen.
Yeah, it is. Really good.
The other 2 games, they only allowed 3 runs, and that was a game after Suarez gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, and
But wasn't that like they brought Mercado, Laser?
Yes.
And then it was
Ruiz, Laser, Marte,
like all the guys.
Yes,
Tanner Banks
Mercado,
was probably
they
in
all
there for an
came
inning.
in, Tanner Banks did come in for an inning. I have that here in my notes. So that was kind of the only blemish. 3 runs, which hey, gave up 3 runs from the bullpen in 7 games. I'll take that any day of the week.
Sure,
so that was kind of an odd game. I mean, Suarez he gave up 4 runs in 4 innings, and Topper went to the Ruiz, Mercado, Marte. They lost that game. I'm going to say it was 7-2 maybe. I was kind of a little disappointed in that. It was the 5th inning. Like, look, you get an inning out of Ruiz, but Mercado and Marte and I don't. It was
Marte's
almost
back, huh?
Laser. I like Laser. He's been good since he's been here, but you're playing the Braves here, and 4 runs you can overcome that. So I thought maybe he should have went to his big. Did he lay that one up? Maybe
like a little more Ruiz, a little Kirkaren or something.
I mean, they won the first game. Maybe at that point, all right, look, we'll lay up. Rest my bullpen. You lose game 2. Let's come back and get game 3 and 4, and it worked out. So
I guess
I'm not going to bash him for that.
Can't get on Topper too much. You're going to try to save the pen a little bit.
Absolutely.
For the rest of the series.
I mean, that's not a situation I would expect to see in the playoffs where you give up 4. You're going to see Marte, Ruiz, and then I think you're going to see your bigger guns. So again, he saved his guys, and that was a good thing, and they pulled that series out. But the rest of the bullpen, I mean, they were fantastic. I mean, enough can't be said for what Estevez did Sunday night. 2 scoreless innings, the 9th and the 10th with the ghost runner, and put the Phillies in position to win that game, which they did with a big hit from Castellanos. Had a big night that night, the 2-run homer and the RBI to win the game. So the offense wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was good enough.
Yeah, they scored.
It was good enough.
I believe I seen it was 21 runs in the 7 games, so 3 runs a game, which isn't exactly
not great,
setting the world on fire. No, not great at all.
But if you pitch well, it's going to be enough.
And they did pitch well. And some of these playoff games, let's be honest, they're going to be tight like this. So that gave me a little confidence in this team hitting the playoffs the way Wheeler, Nola stepped up, the bullpen stepped up, and they pulled these games out against 2 tough teams. So if that offense does get clicking, Junior, we could be in for a treat in the playoffs. They're the offense has the ability to look, Harper's not tearing the ball, cover off the ball right now.
He's due.
He's overdue.
So due.
Overdue.
Yep.
Schwarber's not exactly killing it. Castellanos pretty much seems to be the one who's really carrying the offense. The last couple of weeks. So I'm expecting them all in September here to. The weather's going to change a little bit.
A little bit of Martian
nice
start here and there. The
start hitting.
Homered a little bit lately. It's just it's good. It's not what it could be.
No,
it could be better. Offense could be a little better.
But it was
But we're winning games, so who gives a crap?
It was a fantastic. Again, it was a fantastic homestand. 5-2. I can't say enough about that. I was happy. Built their lead to 7 games now over the Braves.
Yes.
The Mets have snuck back into the picture with the
Mets
Braves.
The Mets are not metting, John.
Yeah, they're 7.5.
We spoke too soon.
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, they won all. They're having a little run.
They played a 3-game series with Chicago.
Okay,
so,
that helps.
But they're playing. Hey, look, the Mets are playing good
ball. They're right behind the Braves.
They're half game back.
They're half game back.
Half game back behind the Braves, and we played the Mets 7 times this month. So I'm looking for some. I'm looking for some enjoyment in that. As I mentioned last week on our podcast, we all know the Mets fans travel well and they come down.
They will travel,
and some of them can be a pain in the ass in the game. They're loud. They're obnoxious. Which,
come on down.
Which let's be honest here, we're not the most quiet people either when we go to other stadiums. So what goes around comes around. So I'm looking forward.
Well, let's fold their tent like we kind of pushed Atlanta out of the picture.
I'm looking forward to the Phillies.
Let's beat them down a little bit and go up there and kick their ass in a week and a half.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Phillies possibly putting a dagger in the Mets down there and knocking it out.
Sure.
But then again, who do you want in that 6th wild card? Would you rather see the Braves, the Mets, the Cubs? I mean, who would you?
I'll take the Cubs. Let's just throw the Cubs.
Yeah, be the Cubs. Although it would.
It's going to be tough, though.
I hate to see the Mets make the playoffs. I'd love to see the Braves out. They have a great pitching staff, and anything can happen in a 5-game series.
That scares me. So
let's get the Braves.
It's really that's a toss up there. You got. I think teams like the Cardinals and the Giants are going to fade off. They're starting to. There's not enough games for them to catch up.
That is true.
We're in September now. I think the Braves maybe squeak in there.
I mean, the Cubs lost.
If we can take care of the Mutts, then maybe the Braves get
push
in.
the Braves.
If the Braves don't play well, which they most likely will, then maybe like somebody else like the
Yeah,
Cubs.
we
Cubs or
almost
somebody else.
control the destiny of
We do,
our
of those of
Eastern
our
Division rivals or
right.
foes. Yes, we
Yeah.
almost control the
Yeah.
Cubs. The Cubs had a
Cubs.
chance to gain a game last night. They lost to Pittsburgh, who, quite frankly, has been awful
Yeah.
the last
They
2 months of the season. So
Yeah, it's a
that's a
shame.
big loss on the Cubs' part. A chance
Shame
to sneak in
about
that wild card. I think they might be 3-4 back now. But it looks like it's the Pirates and the Mets doing battle for that. And it looks like it's going to be the Phillies and Brewers.
Cubs and Mets.
I'm sorry, Cubs, Mets, and Braves for that
Pirates.
last spot. And it looks like it's going to be the Brewers and Phillies going for that, battling for that second playoff spot, that coveted second spot to get the bye.
Yeah, let's win that series when we get out there.
Yeah, we get them in a couple weeks. But leading into that,
Yes.
we start a series tonight, 2 up in Toronto, and then you were alluding to earlier, 4 in Miami.
Yeah.
We need 5 wins here, man.
Yeah,
right?
let's get 5
we need
wins.
some wins here to start September.
There's a possibility for a clunker. Definitely could run into a pitcher who's we're not going to hit because just like I was looking at the schedule and there's 4 clubs, right? There's of course Toronto that didn't trade everybody, but they kind of kept it intact and they're going to try to get back in it.
Got a few hitters there, but
yeah, they didn't trade Vlad and they didn't trade Bassett and stuff.
Bassett's pitching tonight.
Biggio to the Dodgers. That's fine, but it's audition time for the Toronto, for Miami.
Yes.
Going forward to next week's series at home versus Tampa. I have Tuesday night game. Tampa's going to be auditioning pitchers.
Wednesday, yes.
Yep. And who else? Then after that, towards the end of the season, we have the Cubs at home, and we finish at Washington. There's another 6 games. There's another 6 games. We're going to see some young pitching that could give the Phillies hitters some problems.
They give some problems, but you look at that series right there. Yeah,
there's like 4 series where you're going to see a lot of pitching you're not familiar with.
I would tend to think the Phillies should have the East wrapped up by then.
Yeah.
Before that final
Before Chicago,
6 games.
Chicago,
but hey, look, if
Chicago's in it, we could spoil their season.
If any of them games are meaningful to the Phillies, as far as the East, I would think would be wrapped up by then. Maybe they're still in a dogfight with the Brewers.
We got to win.
Yeah,
we got to win all this.
There's no reason they shouldn't.
The Brewers are not going to lay down, and
the Brewers really surprised me. They're right there with the Phillies. I didn't expect that. I knew they'd win that division. They're winning somehow. I don't know how.
It's kind of their division to lose when you look at it.
They're 10 games up. They're just.
I know, but I'm saying nobody at the beginning of the season said, "Oh, the Cubs are going to challenge the Brewers." The Cubs, isn't that really good?
That's really good. What else we got for the fans? Let's get them something else out here.
I'll crack it.
As we're trying to promote all these local breweries for you.
Yeah, this one is
get the local craft beer.
It's been a
genre
minute
out there.
It's been a minute for me when this Forest and Main, but what I will introduce is we have an IPA here, the Sun Chaser, and I was looking for it, but I'm not going to bother with. All I'm going to say about it is these IPAs these hazy IPAs that Forest and Main makes are not big boozy IPAs. This beer is only like 4.3%, I think.
That'd be a nice.
Yeah, this is definitely
nice
crushable. Yeah, 4.3. So we'll get with that in a second.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Great brewery though.
So anyway, we start a series off like we said tonight. With it was a great series again. The Braves and Houston. We start off tonight in Toronto, and then down to Miami for 4 before we get back home. Again, let's just go out there, Phillies. Just
win.
Take care of business. 5 out of 6 here.
Let's get some hits.
We'll
score some runs.
Yeah, score some runs. Let's get back to playing entertaining baseball. Let's make it a stress-free, winning September for us. We got the Eagles starting Friday night. It could be a nice September. The weather seems to be changing already a little bit.
Great. This
weather's
outstanding. Knock on wood. Is there anything? There's nothing to knock on. Knock on that stool for me real quick. This weather's perfect. Please, let's keep it that way.
It has been good.
No hurricanes, please. No hurricanes. One thing I wanted to ask you about, and we didn't put it in the notes there, is September call-ups. We're going to talk about those guys.
Yeah,
I don't want to see.
Well,
I don't want to see those guys playing much.
Yeah, Tyler Phillips is going to make the start tonight.
Well, that's different. That's because he wants to give them an extra.
He's going to give everybody an extra day's rest.
That I understand.
Which probably isn't a bad thing. I know Wheeler and Nola are against taking an extra day's rest, but hey, that might help them in the long run.
All right.
So,
but do players like Marchand come up and stuff?
So Marchand's hurt. Believe it or not, I thought that would be the move. So basically, you can. So the rules have changed for those who ain't familiar with the
It's only
the September calls up. You can only call up 2 players now. One has to be a pitcher and one a position player. So it's 14 and 14 basically on the roster, 28. So they called up Tyler Phillips, and they called up Cody Clemens.
Okay.
I would have thought, and they probably would have called up Rafael Marchand, but he's hurt. To have a third catcher is always a big thing down the stretch here.
It helps.
Resting JT a little bit if they had to. So he's hurt, so they went with Cody Clemens, which Cody's had some success up here. He was involved in the winning. I think he scored the winning run the other night actually against the Braves when Castellanos hit.
Yeah.
So Cody's familiar with the team. The team's familiar with him. So two solid call-ups there. I think they need that fifth starter. They may not need him for 5 games down the stretch. Maybe he makes 3 starts, 4 starts.
What was Kingery's situation with your friends? We were tailgating with your buddies like a few weeks ago, and they were saying, why not bring him up because he's doing well up down there or up there in Lehigh Valley.
So Scott Kingery has kind of revitalized his career a little bit this year in AAA with the Iron Pigs. I believe he has somewhere around 25 homers. He's closing in on maybe a 30-30 season. He's hitting somewhere around 285. The problem with Scott Kingery is he is not on the 40-man roster. So for the Phillies to add him to the 40-man roster, they would need to drop somebody whom could be picked up by another team. So I guess they felt that wouldn't warrant, doing that. And they are done with Scott Kingery after this season. That's my wife in the background watching Bill, and she was a big Scott Kingery fan. I think
bring up Scotty Jetpacks.
I think more for probably his look and physique than his actual game, but I think we've probably seen
he's
the last.
He's playing well, John. That's unfortunate for him, though.
It's unfortunate for him.
It is. He could actually be helpful. Although, as I was saying a minute ago, we don't want these guys playing a whole lot unless somebody gets hurt. I want to see the core, 9 guys. Or 8+ stubs, like you were saying last time.
Playing for the next couple of weeks at least until they start gaining some
we get
ground
to the Chicago series at home.
Yes, then plenty of rest then. I think it's safe to say, Junior, we've probably seen the last of Scott Kingery in a Phillies uniform.
Okay.
Now, that being said, he could go to, his contract will be up. They did actually release Scott earlier this year, and nobody claimed him, so they brought him back to the Iron Pigs.
That happened all too.
They gave him a big contract, $25 million. So, hey, why not come to AAA, earn your contract, which he is earning, and he'll probably
high-paying AAA player there.
Sure, oh yes, it is, and I'm sure he'll have an invite to a big league camp next year, next spring.
Good for him.
And I hope the kid makes it. I'd like to see him play. He could probably still be a serviceable bench player for somebody. I just don't think it'd be the Phillies right now. I think a change of scenery would probably be the best spot for him. He can play multiple positions, but hey. Enough with the AAA guys, right? Yeah, he's done. Let's
guys got to get it done.
Let's give the kudos to the big team. They gave us a little scare
team
here for the last couple months. They seem to start rating the ship against Kansas City, where they scored some runs. Again, they didn't score a ton of runs against Houston and Atlanta, but they won the 5 games. They scored enough big hits to win it, and showed that they can win these tight games. That's going to happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let's take a little try this, folks.
Yeah.
Just give you a little.
If the Braves and Dodgers were healthy teams, we're looking at 100 and some 105.
It's delicious, folks. I would highly recommend that beer as well. What was that one again?
This was a Sun Chaser from Forest and Main. Really crushable. This is in Ambler.
They're in Ambler as well.
So that's Montgomery County. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very well.
Made a little trip out there last Friday.
All right, folks, it's getting close to game time, so we don't want to bore you.
Let's go, Phillips.
Look for our next podcast. I think we're going to try to. I was thinking about. We're going to the game on the 14th, Saturday the 14th against the Mets, 4:05.
Yes.
I think we're going to try to do a live podcast that day from K-Lot. Look for us sometime around 3 o'clock, so 4:05.
Is that our trash bag tailgate, or are we bringing styrofoam coolers to leave there?
I have a styrofoam cooler in the shed that we will load up.
Cooler. I like it because we're getting dropped off. Damn it,
we're getting dropped off. We're not going to we're not going to attempt to drive home or take Scepter or even try to Uber out of there. So
nobody drive home.
Yeah, we're going to get dropped off, and we're gonna drink a tailgate. And
I drive everybody home when I'm drinking water.
Yes, and hopefully we can give you
my jumbo water. Cost me $1 instead of $9.
19 for a beer.
Yeah,
hopefully we can give you so look for us for a live
that's a week.
September 14th.
A week from Saturday.
That's a few days away. It'll give us some time to get some notes up, and maybe we'll try to have some interaction with some tailgaters in the parking lot, and maybe we'll have a few more than the 2 beers we have in us here, and You know, kind of like in Pittsburgh when we were starting to get a little banged up towards the end of the night. So maybe it'll be a little entertaining for you. And
stock up.
But one other quick note.
Yes.
You can also look for starting this Saturday the Birds and Beer podcast, which will be after the day after every Eagles game. So look for me.
You can invite some of your boys on that.
Anybody wants to sit on that as well, they can. But
who's
I'll try
your
to
biggest
bring
football buddy?
They all like football. I just don't know if any. It took me a while to get you behind the camera. I don't know if anyone else is willing. So I'll try to start out one this Saturday after the Birds game Friday night in Brazil. And if anybody wants to jump on board, sit in with me. Help.
Good.
You're more than welcome.
I can just pour the beer because I don't know fuck all about football.
I'll put you right behind the bar there. You can bartend for us and be our bartender if you'd like. But again,
I'll be like they played really good. That will be my input.
Again, it'll be the Birds and Beer.
Birds and Beer
For the Eagles this Saturday and after every Eagles game. And look for us for the Baseball and Beer podcast Saturday, September 14th at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good night. Go Phils.
Go Phillies.